Okay, so now we will be delving into um, the contents of AOA basically. What are the things that need to be in the AOA? And then I will be giving you the problem. Um, and then we can just wind up there. The submission of this particular um, task would be on the 12th. The 12th, sorry, the 11th. The 11th would be your date of submission. And keeping that in mind, just keep that in mind once you get the problem and the sample by the evening or tomorrow morning, depending on um, how I get the sample. Okay, so I hope I'm visible. I hope I'm audible. I hope my screen is also visible. Just one of you, please just let me know.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am, it's visible.
Thanks, thanks, thanks. Okay. Cool. Okay. We have the contents of AOA, which is mentioned under section 5. The AOA basically, sorry about the spelling, I must have missed it out. The AOA regulates internal arrangement or internal management of the company. According to section 5, the following mentioned matters are what deal with the internal affairs of the company. Now, Section 5 mentions the contents of AOA, and these are the contents which you also need to be mentioning in your AOA. I don't know if you will be needing a sample for this, but I will still be sending you a sample, and I also will be sending you a problem. Um, Anyways, first matter which is included in the Articles of Association is the definition of term. Now, there are certain terms which need to be defined, which have multiple meanings, but what meaning you are intending it to be used by, they need to be defined. And some other commonly used terms are also defined in the Articles of Association. Then the nature and business of the company are also mentioned in one of the so this is basically the order as to what you need to include in the AOA as well. It is not just the content, it's also the order in which you need to be, including clauses and articles. Guys, please mute yourselves. Um, Thank you. Um, so it states the nature and business of the company is also mentioned. What is the nature of a company and what is the business that the company deals with? Then you also have the objects of the company, like in the MOA, you had the objective clause. Here also you have the objective clause. Then it also mentions um, it also states the share capital, the payment of commissions, as well as the issue of shares. All of these are also mentioned in your articles of association. Then you have provisions related to transfer of shares and provisions related to allotment of shares. And the procedure related to allotment of shares. All of those are also mentioned. Then you have any increasing or decreasing of capital is also mentioned in the Articles of Association. Um, the capital is the amount of money that the company starts with. As I've already mentioned, the capital can be increased, but it can decrease in certain circumstances where the company is going into loss. Then you have the voting methods of its members, how the members can be voted in, how the members can be voted out, what are the qualifications and everything else that you need to know with respect to voting is also mentioned in the Articles of Association. Then you have maintenance of accounts, who maintains accounts, under which bank you have your account, what is the kind of account that you have, how much is the money, what is the range up to which you will have money no matter what happens. Then you have general and special meetings of the company, when, where, how, and what circumstances you have general meetings or special meetings. Then you have the powers of the board of directors, managers. and the other delegates or the other um, sorry, okay. So we have powers which are delegated to the board of directors, managers, and such other people. And other people, like for example, you have managing directors, you have shareholders, all of the powers which are delegated to all these sections of people in the company. All of those are mentioned. Then you have appointment of board of directors, their qualifications, remunerations, removal, and liability. All of those are also mentioned. Then you have borrowing powers of the company. How much a company can borrow, from whom can the company borrow, and up to what extent the company can borrow. All of that is mentioned. Then you have management of the company, how like what are the management rules, regulations, criteria that need to be kept in mind. All of those are also mentioned. Then you have rules for adopting preliminary contract, any contracts with any external individuals, how they can be adopted, what the company must do to make sure that those contracts are fulfilled to the best of their capacities and capabilities. Um, then you have rules regarding citation, creation of reserves. Reserves is basically your emergency money. Like you keep it no matter what, and that money is not touched until you absolutely need it. Then you have rules regarding declaration of dividends. If you're shareholders of a company, you know you get dividends, and dividends are the profit that you get out of investing in the particular company. How a company will declare its dividends, under what circumstances, and uh, what month of the year they will declare their dividends, and how they will declare their dividends, in what platform, or will they send as a message, or they will send a check, or what they will send, and all of that is mentioned in the Articles of Association. Then you have rules relating to keeping of register of members. Every company starts with a register. Um, okay, every company starts with a register, and all the members who come into the company and who are part of the company are all mentioned in that register. Now it's of course digitalized, and it is more um, online than it is offline, but initially it was always on book, on paper. Then you have appointment of auditors, qualifications with removals, rights and duties. Every company requires an auditor to audit their bank accounts and any kind of accounts during the end of the financial year. Then you have the qualifications required for those auditors to be part of the company. You have remunerations, how much you will be paying them, how those auditors can be removed, what are the rights and duties of the particular auditor. Then you have maintenance of audit report. No matter what, you always need to have an audit report of the previous year. Then you have company's common seal. It needs to be this AOA needs to be stamped on every particular paper, and you also need to be mentioning the seal, like the company seal also needs to be mentioned as one of the clauses. Then you have notices and circulars, and how a notice of a company must be sent, and how the circulars of the company must be sent, who must under whose hand and sign it must be sent. Should it be sent through post, or should it be sent through mail? All of those are also mentioned in the Articles of Association. Then you have matters relating to winding up of the company. Um, okay, so that is the last one. How a company can wind up, under what circumstances can the company wind up? Is it voluntary winding up, the circumstances, or compulsory winding up through the tribunals, or through the orders of the court? That also must be mentioned. What happens after the company winds up, how everyone will get what they've invested in the company back to them. All of that needs to be mentioned in the winding up clause of the company. Moving on, we have the problem. You need to draft the Articles of Association of XYZ Tech Solutions Private Limited. The background is that XYZ Tech Solutions Private Limited company is a technology company that provides software development and IT consulting services. The company is registered in India and has the following key characteristics. It has two founders, Mr. A and B. Now, the names of these people I will definitely change and get back to you on that, who are also initial directors of the company. The company's registered office is located in Bangalore, Karnataka. Um, I don't know if that will work, but I will just see how that's going to work. Anyways, the authorized share capital is INR 10 lakhs, which is divided into a lakh equity shares of 10 rupees each. That also needs to be kept in mind. Um, Now you have the instructions of what you need to do with the problem. You are tasked with drafting of the um, articles of association for XYZ Tech Solutions Technology Solutions Private Limited. Consider the following key elements and provisions. Name clause must be mentioned, registered office clause must be mentioned, object clause must be mentioned, liability clause must be mentioned. You have your share capital clause, membership clause, management and directors. You have general meetings, extraordinary general meetings. You have special meetings. You have dividends and reserves. Dividends and reserves. You have borrowing powers, accounts and audits, winding up. All of the contents of an AOA must be mentioned. These are some things which you need instructions for, which is why I've mentioned them in points. The rest, you need to keep in mind the section 5 and then draft your articles of association. And it must also comply with the provisions of the Companies Act 2013 and must include other relevant legal provisions, like how, um, under what, you know, like if since this is a technology company, if this is manufacturing as well, you need to mention how they got the license and who is the authority and under what statute that has given them these, um, licenses. So that's about it. I will just stop sharing my screen. Okay, so that's about articles of association. I hope everything is clear. I hope okay. I hope everything is clear. I hope if there's any doubt, please do let me know.